take the lead. On NFR's lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You move to NFR, feel the speed, the speed. You move to NFR.
Speed demons burning rubber, SKR the lead we love. Sunday at 6, engines flare up, adrenaline shove. Tight turns, the smell of gas, tires screeching loud. Thrill on the track, every driver make the crowd proud. Racers gunning for the top, no room for any slack. Pit stop strategies, teams got each other's backs. One wrong move, dreams could crash, a season turn to dust. Victory tastes sweeter when the stakes are a must. Rev up, SKR brings the drama. Highs and lows, no place for the comma. Checker flag wave, dreams come alive. Sunday at 6, see the legends thrive. Dashes, wheel-to-wheel clashes. Cold sweat under helmets, pressure till it smashes. Race by race unfolding like a thriller on screen. F1 kings and queens chase that victory sheen. Rivalries ignite, sparking flames on asphalt. Pushing limits, no regret, not a single halt. Missteps and miracles, heartbeat sequence speed. SKR battles fuse with passion and greed. Rev up, SKR brings the drama. Highs and lows, no place for the comma. Checker flag wave, dreams come alive. Sunday at 6, see the legends thrive. Rev up, SKR brings the drama. Highs and lows, no place for the comma. Checker flag wave, dreams come alive. Sunday at 6, see the legends thrive.
NFR, it's time to go. Feel the speed, let it flow. Racing hearts, watch them glow. Turn it up, start the show. NFR, feel the heat. Fast and fierce, never beats. Engines roar, can't stay off seats. Catch the thrill, it's so sweet. The track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. Lights are green, zooming fast, slick machine. Every twist, every scene, catch the action on your screen. NFR, NFR, yeah. Drama high, stars afar, round the track a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close. Who will win? In our heads, the engine's dim. NFR, let's begin.
Well, gather round, folks, let me spin you a tale about a race car driver, George Russell by name. He's quick on the track, but don't get too excited, cause when it comes to greatness, well, he's not quite knighted. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fake. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story. That's no lie, and when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. He's got the helmet, he's got the car, but when it comes to win, he's not quite up to par. He's got the look like Woody with a cowboy hat, but when he's in the pit, you'll see him shed a tear stack. Now don't get me wrong, he's got some skill, but when you're talking about the best, he's not in that mill. He'll race you hard, give you quite the fright, but in the end, he's more known for his tears at night. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story. That's no lie, and when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story. That's no lie, and when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run.
Lights out, engines roar. Sunday night, we want more. Speed kings racing on the track. Feel the thrill, no turning back. Drivers chase, the trophy gleams. 6 p.m., the race of dreams. Corners tight, they grip and slide. Feel the rush, take it in stride. SKR, we're racing high. Burning rubber, reaching sky. Drama twists and turns galore. Speed kings racing, we want more. It stops fast, the team's on fire. Chasing down their heart's desire. Highs and lows, we're on the edge. Feel the speed, no time to hedge. Rivalries, the fierce battle's fought. Every move, it's match or not. Lightning every move, it's match or not. Lightning fast, they glide and weave. All the fans, they can't believe. SKR, we're racing high. Burning rubber, reaching sky. Drama twists and turns galore. Speed Kings racing, we want more.
Turn on the screen, it's NFR. Feel the rush like a shooting star. The engines roar, the tires scream. Fast as lightning, it's the dream. Speed and drama, every turn on NFR. The rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far. Where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Fernando calls the play on NFR. Every race day, commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far. Where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Not Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far. Where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Deaf Queen, the top supporter scene. In the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see. In the quiet lanes of Silverstone town, folks are whispering about a boy falling down. Got a seat from his daddy, money's the king. Driving that Williams ain't like riding free. Tires spin, engines roar, but the podium's far. His wheels hit the gravel, now there's damage to the car. Got the world at his feet, yet he fumbles the lead. His dreams race away, but he's not in the speed. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Now he's got his own team with a famous name. Aston Martin's the brand, but it's still the same shame. Every corner, every turn, the crashes unfold. Dreams wrapped in carbon fiber, truth left untold. Paddock folks shake their heads with a sigh as the green car spins and the hopes run dry. No matter the funds, it's a harsh game of pain. $1 million toys can't shelter the rain. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. keeps trying, but the track's all uphill.
Sunday night, lights are bright, engines roar, take the flight. On the track, speed ignites, feel the rush, grip it tight. Racers fly through each turn, fierce and fast, rubber burns. Champions rise, lessons learned, victories call, hearts yearn. SKR, feel the drive, oh yeah. Push the limit, come alive, alive. SKR, feel the speed, adrenaline is what we need. Fast gear, engines wail, close the gap, never fail. Pit stops quick, no detail. Fuel the fire, trail the tail. Final lap, tension high. Who will win? Who will fly? Rivalries burn under the sky. Finish line, here's the cry. SKR, feel the drive, oh yeah. Push the limit, come alive, alive. SKR, feel the speed, adrenaline is what we need. Feel the speed, the thrill, high octane drama can't get off fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Yeah. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to NFR. Welcome back to SKR. It's a Sunday afternoon and we're ready to go again. Of course, it's season 10, it's round 3, and we are in Spa-Francorchamps. And well, what comes the best with Spa-Francorchamps is rain. Never be too surprised to see rain around this circuit. It's a long history in the sport. In fact, Spa was on the calendar before Formula One was technically a championship. So the track predates the 1950 championship. It's a little bit more recent in history. A driver very few of you will know. A driver by the name of, what was his name? Bernard Gachamp. I think it was Bernard. Was it Bernard Gachamp? I think it was Bernard Gachamp. Was a French Formula One driver. Was arrested for aggravated assault when he pepper sprayed his taxi driver. He then needed to be replaced for the Belgian Grand Prix in 1991, and he was replaced by a young, little known German driver. That driver was Michael Schumacher. History wrote itself from there. Of course, 1 year later, at the exact same circuit, Michael Schumacher went on to take his debut victory in Formula One. He also completed another 5 victories at this circuit during the course of his career. Most wins in Spa. Michael Schumacher, 6 to his name. Of course, who can forget the 1995 performance, starting P16 on the grid, going on to finish P2 in the race with what can only be described as a very handicapped gearbox. He was missing second gear, he was missing third gear. Somehow he was still able to bring the car home in second place, and for the most part he was matching the leaders. Of course, tonight, rather late this afternoon, see a lot of drivers out on track, and that suggests to me that the conditions are not going to be getting any better. I think if the drivers were sitting in the pits and they saw dry conditions coming, there wouldn't really be any sort of a rush to get out there and set a lap time. The track's only going to get better as the session goes on. But that seems to be the opposite, because everybody is out on track, everybody's looking to get that first lap time in. We see an RB going wide and into the gravel. Not sure if that was a mistake or just trying to stay out of the way. This is Conboy, one of the 2 RBs. He's on a quick lap already, looking to get on with things. So everyone wants to get that benchmark down, especially in a session like this. Of course, make a mistake in qualifying, find yourself in the wall with no lap time, means you're going to be starting from the rear of the field, and it's a relatively large field. 17 drivers should get going. It's 17 drivers. No lap times on our screens just yet. Of course, this is the longest race circuit on the calendar, just a touch over 7 kilometers. In fact, 4 meters over 7 kilometers. Of course, still very short compared to its original length. 27 kilometers. Very different race circuit it is now. It has kept most of its flair, most of its flavour, the speed, the fast corners, the long straights. Of course, you can forget the most popular sequence of corners on this circuit. Eau Rouge and Radion. First time goes to Sugar Bear at 1:57.8. Just under the 2-minute mark. Long track around Belgium. This is the part of the circuit I was telling you about. Down Eau Rouge and up Radion. Now the lap time starting to come in at 1:53. That's much quicker by Weeds. Setting the mark early on. course, a long time ago. I think it was pre-World War II. Right there at the base of Rouge and Radion. That was actually the border between Belgium and the Netherlands. The border has since moved. Had things not changed, half this race would be in Belgium, half this race would be in the Netherlands. Of course, the Zandvoort circuit only about an hour and a half's drive away from Spa. So if you live in the region and you have enough in the wallet, you can go and watch both Grand Prix and it wouldn't even be much of a drive. Riding with Cooper 159.2 is what he was able to achieve. Jan, one of the Ferraris, 59.5 and a 2-minute 5 for Abnarosi. That was his first lap. Of course, these lap times will come down. A lot of these drivers, they do a lot of preparation, but 90% of that preparation, if not all of that preparation, comes in the dry. Not a lot of the drivers prepare for the wet conditions, do actual testing in the wet conditions. So even the quickest drivers here can make a mistake in the wet. It's never far away. It's either just me or I'm seeing things, I'm not quite sure, but I don't see quite as many raindrops. I think this track may be drying up. And all these lap times you see on the left hand side of your screen could potentially mean absolutely nothing if this track is indeed going to dry. Of course, no Q2, no Q3, just the Q1, so this is it. You've got 10.5 minutes. The track seems to be evolving into something else, so the guys need to come in, put on a new set of rubber, rethink everything. That first lap time's not going to be good enough. Etzferry has retired from the session, as has Captain Slows, so they will take no further part in qualifying and start right from the rear of the field unless anybody, let's say BSQ. We're riding with, I was going to say one of the two Red Bulls, but where is the other one? Oh, there is the other one. Pantry Star, the top Red Bull in P4. Top Gun P6, Pantry Star P4, that's the two Red Bulls. I'd love a result like that later this evening. Get both cars comfortably in the points, not just in the points, comfortably in the points. Two cars within the top 6, be a good result. But of course everybody knows the man to beat is the man at the top of the timesheets. He's sitting in the pits for now, waiting for the track to get even better. Let's bring up the tyre screen for you, see who's doing what. You can see most of those times have been set on intermediate tyres. Weeze has just put on a set of soft tyres, but he remains in the pits for now. Let's see who's actually out on track with a set of softs. Skull also has softs on the car, but he's in the pits, as is Joe Kitsia and Jan. So it appears like there's a few guys on the timing sheet with softs on the car, but all of those cars, for now, remain in the pits. As I say, they return in the pits. I am proved wrong once again. Here's Weeze just emerged from the pits. It's going to be the first of those soft runners to give it a go on a different set of tyres. Is it too early? Of course, there is a crossover period, and getting that crossover period right can be the difference in a lot of time. Andre has gone quickest. That was with a set of intermediate tyres, so that suggests the track is just getting better and better and better. It's either the internet or Weeze just struggling for grip. Doesn't look like he's having a great time out there. Hacking away at the wheel left and right, just doesn't look like he's enjoying himself. This is indeed an outlap, so we don't need to read too much into it. But I assure you, all the other drivers on the soft compound, they'll be sitting in their pits, they'll be watching their little monitor, and they'll be watching Weeze go around this circuit, trying to figure out if it's time for those softs. fastest driver in the field is still on a set of intermediates. Once we see this track time come to the softs, everything's going to fall oh so quickly. He's just struggling to get it around the final corner. That would have been the start of his fast lap. Is he going to go? Yes, he is. He opens up the ERS. You can see it discharging there in the center of your screen. Just didn't get the perfect exit out of the chicane. Preferred a better exit. A bad exit to the final corner. It hampers your top speed down the straight. Riding with Weeze to see if he's got anything in the tank. If these softs are indeed the tyre to be on. He's just gone 1/10 faster than his previous time, or 1/10, that was 1/10 faster than his previous time in sector 1. There is definitely an improvement, but if the track is indeed not ready for slicks, it's just going to get better and better as time goes on with each and every lap you're out there. In fact, you might want to be the last car to go over the line. I think that might just be the driver that has the best opportunity. Quite a few of you watching tonight. Of course, a few more of you joined just before the race. A few choose to miss qualifying. So for all of you here, thank you very much. It's great to have you on a Sunday afternoon. Always a race that has a full grid and has lots of support on the channel. This is Andre, quickest man on track for the time being. Both provisional pole with a 152.9, and as I say it, 151.0 is the new benchmark. Weeze goes into provisional pole. The rest of the field can take a deep sigh, look at that new time and figure out how they're going to approach it. Of course, you must also remember these times are not only coming down because the track is getting better, these times are also coming down because the drivers are getting more confident. When you get out there, you're not quite sure, is the track ready, is it not ready? You might just be a little hesitant on the gas pedal, you might just brake a little earlier than you should, just to be that extra careful. Once the track starts to come to you, once you start to believe in the track again, you start to believe in the grip, in those tyres, you start to throw the car in that much faster. And all of a sudden these times going to be very different. .0, the current best. Levy 51.8, so it is within a second. We've seen crazier times from Weeze in the past where he's a second ahead of the field. So Levy doing a good job keeping within that second. Andre goes over the line, he's about to start a quick lap. This will be his first lap on a set of softs. He doesn't want to be that close to the Ferrari. And that's ended exactly how he didn't want it to end. Started that fast lap a little bit too close to the car ahead. Instead of staying out of the way, it seemed like Ferrari didn't know the McLaren was there. So Andre's not going to get the best run on this lap. See a big nudge there into turn 1. Time for the lap. With the one McLaren, now we're with the other McLaren. This is Smurf. He's at the rear of the field. No lap time next to his name. He's trying to change that. Goes over the line. No lap yet. That was an out lap. Wonder if he just didn't do any attempts in the wet, or if he just didn't get any timed laps in the wet. Of course, incredibly easy to invalidate lap times around here. We saw not so long ago on this channel race at Imola, where almost the entire field, with the exception of 2 or 3 drivers, had penalties. This is another track where you can see that sort of result. Penalties are always easy to get. You're trying to use all of the racetrack, you're trying to use all of the exit. Sometimes you use a little bit more of the exit than you should. And we all know how quickly those penalties can rack up into disaster. This is Gatosi, one of the 2 Alpines. Of course, in 2025, Alpine will be using the Renault engine for the final time before they move over to Mercedes power. Of course, they will be taking the Mercedes power unit that was once destined for Aston Martin. Aston Martin will be moving over to Honda power units in 2026. So that partnership will come to an end with Red Bull, and Red Bull go to Honda. So it's all going to be all change next year. This year is exciting. Next year is going to be even better. Smurf goes quickest. Smurf goes quickest. It's a 1:48.3. Look at that lap time. This is all about the track. This is all about the track getting better and better and better. Sugar Bear goes quickest. 1:47.1. Lap times are coming down in chunks. Half a second, 4/10. Every time somebody goes over the line, the last set of lap times seem irrelevant. Levy's not going to be able to go out and improve. Andre's not going to be able to go out and improve. They will start no better than 6th and 8th respectively. They have already gone down to 7th and 9th. Sugar Bear P1, Smurf P2, and then a Red Bull has just gone over the line into P3. That is Top Gun. In P4, one of the 2 RBs. Make them rage. He's in P4, 1:49.5. His teammate Carnboy, 1:53.6. We know Carnboy's got so much more than that. He's got so much more than P11, and he's definitely not 5 seconds slower than pole position. It's all about the track. It's all about being on the track at the right time in these conditions. And so long as he hasn't invalidated this lap, and as I say that, I'm looking at the screen and it might be an invalidated lap. I see a lot of red on that minimap. Not the qualifying Ferrari would have wanted. Jan at the rear of the field, P16, slowest of the climb drivers, and Joe Kutsia. Well, he's not going to make it out of the pit, so he will start no higher than P14. Cooper goes quickest. Let's have a look. Where is Wheeze? Surely something's coming. He's in sector 2. He's going to have to get back up onto that front row. He's been on the front row for the entire session, but now these tyres have gone against him, thrown him into P7, but he's got a lap of his own he needs to complete. This is the last man on the grid you'd ever want to count out. Look at that. Goodness, goodness, goodness. It almost looks like a glitch. He's 5 seconds faster in sector 2. Something special is on the way. Didn't see the time in sector 1, but you saw he was 5 seconds down in sector 2. 5 seconds up rather. He navigates that chicane for the final time, goes over the line, and let's see what he can come up with. It's good enough for P1. It's a 43.5. Goodness me. While we were watching all of that, the second Williams was across the line, was briefly in P2 and then dethroned by Pantry Star. So it looks like we're going to have a Williams on the front row and a Williams on the second row. Good qualifying session for the Williams team. On a circuit like this, that's exactly where you want to start. You want to start at the front of the field, where everything is clear, into that incredibly tight right-hander. Starting in the midfield, it's going to be your responsibility to keep that front wing intact. That is the end of our qualifying session. Everybody has crossed the checkered flag or is sitting in the pits. Just wait for the timer to tick down and get those official results and get on. The main reason we're all here tonight, of course, qualifying, all fun and games. Qualifying really all about the bragging rights. The most important part of the evening comes down to the race. There are your results. Weeze takes pole position, Pantry Star P2, then Skull, great performance for P3, Cooper P4, Sugar Bear P5, then we've got Jan, Smurf, Top Gun, Make Them Rage, and Apmagozi making up the top 10. Outside the top 10 with a bit of work to do, we got Levy in P11 out of position, then Gatozi P12, Andre 13, Convoy 14, Spikes 15, Joe Kitsia 16. And then the two drivers that did not set lap times, It's Free 17 and Captain Slow will go from the back. That wasn't much of a break, was it? We're about ready to go yet again. So of course all the cars, they will be lined up to the left hand side of your screen. You can probably just see 3 or 4 of them just on the edge of your screen. Those drivers will now be doing their final preparations. What tyre they intend to start the race on. How deep into this race they intend to go. And of course, what do they expect from those first opening laps? Don't think we're going to see anybody on the soft compound unless they're expecting a very, very early safety car. Don't know how much the soft can do around here. It is a 7-kilometer circuit. Imagine only 5 or 6 laps before it starts to feel pretty rotten. So I think we'll only see softs and mediums and hards rather. But in what combination, we don't yet know. Still a bit of a pause. Still waiting to get going. Can you imagine that? Going back to the story I was telling you all at the beginning of qualifying. Michael Schumacher got his debut at this very track in 1991 because the driver he replaced got arrested for aggravated assault. So unless a Formula One driver committed a crime, there's a very good chance Michael Schumacher would have never got his debut. And F1 in the 90s, as we know, it could have looked very, very different. Good to have Jevon in the comment section. Obviously Death Queen, Ubuntu, we saw Skull here earlier, we saw It's Free here earlier. Of course some of those drivers are listening to the stream in the background, but we're not going to see anything from them in the comment section because you can see their names out there on track. It's Free's out on track. Skull is out on track. We already have 4 DSQs. Don't worry too much about the DSQs, it's not a disaster just yet. Of course those DSQs are for violations during the formation lap, and the disqualification is only for the formation lap. So that disqualification is for the formation lap, not for the race. You get sent back to the naughty corner or the equivalent of it. You get sent to your grid spot. You go sit on the grid by yourself, listening to your engine hum away, waiting for everybody to make their way around the circuit. All of that time you should have been preparing the car, getting a feel for things with a much heavier tank. All of that time you're sitting on the grid doing absolutely nothing. Just wondering where everybody is and what's taking them so long. From the comment section from Death Queen, good luck to everybody. Of course, we know Death Queen supports everybody, good luck to everybody, but Andre and Skull are at the top of that list. Speaking of those two drivers, Andre, he's going to go from P13. So on one of those runs, one of those late quali runs, he got heavily hampered into turn 1. Not sure if he was able to put up an attempt after that or if that was his final attempt. He's going to go from P13. As for his former teammate Skull, he's going from the second row. Going from P3. See the field now lining up. Have a look. Have a look at that Williams. Have a look at that Williams. That is a very, very aggressive starting maneuver. You can see he's pointing right in the direction of the Red Bull. And to make sure if Pantry Star has a launch off the line, he's going to be able to cover it off. We get a decent camera angle for the race start for a change. We head off into turn 1 and hopefully we see all the cars heading out of turn 1. Don't see any carbon fiber flying. Seems like everybody made it through there. Well done to all 18 drivers. One of the more difficult turn 1s on the calendar. Wheeze leads the way on a set of hards. I think that explains that aggressive angle at the restart. Look how many drivers behind him on the soft tyre. We didn't expect to see soft tyres, but there's a lot of soft tyres on the field. Panterstar would have been looking to get a supreme start with the soft, maybe get ahead of Wheeze, hold him up at the start of the race. They haven't been able to do that. Wheeze has got up the road into the lead. And now, if anything, it's Panterstar and Skull that are batting over second place, making the race even easier for the leader out front. Cooper up into P4. Look at the Ferrari. Where did the Ferrari come from? We said the Ferraris didn't have a fantastic qualifying session. Well, Jan up into P5, Sugarbear P6, then the first of the two McLarens, Smith P7, Top Gun P8. Andre's had a fantastic start. Look at that. He's up into P9. He's just behind his teammate. Cole still holds firm in P3. A circuit where if rain does come into play, it could become a very long race. Just 22 laps around this 7-kilometer circuit. I think if it's the same distance, why would it be longer? Well, if you get multiple safety cars, doing a 7-kilometer lap takes a lot longer than doing a lap at Austria. Wheeze and Skull, didn't see that, but Skull's made the overtake. Skull up into P2 for Williams 1-2. What a performance this would be. Last time I think we had a Williams 1-2 in Belgium was in 1996. It would have been Damon Hill over Jacques Villeneuve. Quite some time since the Williams have been taking double podiums. If you're new to Formula 1, I think I sound ridiculous right now. Williams, multiple podiums. I'll have you know that in the 90s, that was the most successful team in Formula 1. And now, they're reliving some of that brilliance. 1 and 2 in Spa, but it's only lap 2 of 22. Pantry Star hasn't given up on that P2. He's right on the back of Skull, just 4/10 of a second. He's going to get the help of DRS. He's going to try and come back at that second Williams. Not just yet. He did have the help of DRS. He got close, but not close enough. Of course, the famous overtake of Mark Webber around the outside of Fernando Alonso at this very part of the race circuit. Overtake will be on the top 10 of any overtakes list, probably for the rest of time. Of course, that was Mark Webber in a Jaguar, overtaking Fernando Alonso in a Ferrari. This Jaguar went on to become this car, the Red Bull. Red Bull stepped in to save one failing F1 team, and then a year later stepped in again to save another dying F1 team. It was the Italian Minardi team. That team was bought and converted to Toro Rosso, now known as RB. Some fans don't like the fact that Red Bull have two teams. Well, had Red Bull not entered the sport, it could be two teams down. Rees leads from Pantry Star. It's 1.1 seconds is the gap. Then Skull right behind the Red Bull. They've sort of left the rest of the field behind. Pantry Star and Skull not quite as quick as Weeze. Remember, Weeze has got the hard tyre, so he's even quicker than what he appears to be. Right now, he's matching the guys on softs. Once he's the driver with the soft compound, things are going to look quite different. But for the time being, Pantry Star and Skull, they're able to stay within reach of Weeze, just outside of DRS, 1.1 seconds. And then between the two of them, second place is far from decided. The RB of Convoy, currently in P4. He's the second of the drivers on, or the second listed of the drivers on the hard compound. Of course, the leader is on a set of hards. Convoy is on a set of hards. Two drivers ahead of him have got up the road. They're on a set of softs. Those softs will go off. Convoy will probably come back into this race. This is Jan. He had a fantastic start. He's up into P5, but he's under a lot of pressure. Lots of cars behind him. See the Haas right there, so close you can almost read the sponsors right off the front wing. That is spikes. That's what 1.5 tenths of a second looks like, and that's the view from the Haas. He's close enough to get DRS this time around, and ooh, look at that, it just applies the pressure to the Ferrari, gets ever so close. It's not even going to need the DRS, it's going to do it well before turn 1. Ferrari didn't have a fantastic exit. What looked like was going to be a very difficult position to defend, simply got it handed over. Remember Andre, he started all the way down in P13, he's now up to P7. Look at that, going around the outside of the Ferrari. I wonder if Jan picked up any sort of damage. He's now being passed by 2 cars. Let's have a look at that Ferrari. Appears to have its end plates. Just a loss of momentum, maybe just those softs starting to act up. Top Gun. It's gone out of sync with everybody around him. Of course, I was incorrect. I thought we'd see a mixture of mediums and hards. We actually got a mixture of softs and hards. Well, Top Gun, the only driver on the grid, go right down the middle. He's on the medium compound. 4 laps on those mediums. And as those softs around him begin to drop, he's going to find himself coming through this field very quickly. His next target is the man in the Scuderia Ferrari just off the road from him. Should I say the Scuderia Ferrari HP. Look at this battle. What a view. You're not going to get a better view than that. And again, side by side, it's an Aston Martin, and the Aston Martin's going to come out on top. So fantastic driving. That's It's Ferrari. We got the best view in the house of that. A little further back, Levy in P9. Remember, this is another one of those drivers. I keep on saying it, he's driving out of position. I know when he gets everything right on a night, how quick he is. He should be a little bit up the road from P9. Sugar Bear. In P10, when the track was evolving and doing all sorts of crazy things, he did hold on to provisional pole for about 2 minutes in that qualifying session. This is Gatosi, the lead Alpine. Which does get a little bit confusing in the Alpine garage when you look at those two names. One of the teammates is Gatosi, the other teammate is Atmagosi. Atmagosi and Gatosi. Drive the same car. Fantastic. Of course, if you want a driver pairing that's almost as complicated as that, you'd have to go as far back as, for me, really the first season of Formula 1 I ever watched. It was in 1993, and I couldn't figure out the drivers in that Ligier team. There were 2 of them. They were both British. One, you'll know as a commentator, was Martin Brundle, and his teammate was Mark Blundell. Martin Brundle, Mark Blundell, 2 Brit teammates at a French team. It's all very confusing. Back at the front, this is Wies. Since we were with the leader last, he has been able to open up the gap, so Panchestar and Skull, they were holding on to that 1 second mark, just about, but it seems like those softs might be starting to get a little bit slippery. That's why Wies has opened up, he's gotten up the road. These 2 are still fighting. Keep your eyes on the gap to Convoy. That will be a good way of seeing exactly when these softs are done. It's a 1 second gap. It was 1.2 seconds just a few moments ago when we looked at it, and now it's 8/10. So I think it's time for those hard tires to come into their own. I think if you're on the soft tire, you need to start thinking about when is it time to pit. Do I really want to spend 1 extra lap out on track? How much time will it cost me? Remember, longest race circuit on the calendar. It takes you a while to get around here. Pitting 1 lap later could cause a huge undercut. Spike's another one of the drivers that started on the soft compound, as well as Andre, and look at that. What a battle. As we join Andre, you can just see the Aston Martin. Aston Martin pulls out of it just in time. It's Ferrari. It's better of it. It's just lap 8 of 22, long way to go, and breaking the wing at this point in the race is not going to help his cause. Decides to stay behind the McLaren just a little longer, tucks in behind. It's for a better opportunity. That opportunity might be coming up right now. You just want to stay as close as 3, picks up a 3-second penalty. Didn't look like that was penalty material, but obviously taking too much curve. He's going to get around Andre well before the chicane, but now he's going to have to live with that 3-second penalty for the rest of the race. There's no getting rid of that penalty. course, if you get a 10-second penalty in the pits, you can serve that penalty by serving another pit stop. But these track infringements and their increments of 3 cannot be removed. They're going to be added on to your race time. So if you find yourself in a battle for a race win, in the back of your mind you're going to know, no matter what happens here, I'm going to lose. Levy all over the back of Andre, get a fantastic start, now starting to go in the other direction, but that'll be a result of those softs. We're still waiting to see the soft drivers come in. When will they come in? Of course, let me know in the comment section. You guys do a lot more time on the circuits than I do. The guys that are on hards now, ooh, there's a incident there with a horse. We didn't see what happened, but there was a horse ghosting, going sideways. It's now entered into the pits. If that was indeed an incident that caused damage, luckily for that driver, it happened right at the pit entry. Sugar Bear up, ready on, joining just at the perfect time. This well-known part of the race circuit it is. It's Jan in P9, just ahead of Katosi. Field is going to start switching up shortly. Drivers are going to start coming in, getting rid of those softs any time now. Still saying, let me know in the comment section, the drivers starting on the softs. Will they go on to a set of hards and finish? Some of the drivers going to entirely skip the medium compound. What do you guys think will be that winning strategy? Of course, Weeze, the man very much in control of this race. He's on a set of hard tyres. Same set of tyres he started the race on. He's going to be looking to go deep into this race. And he has a comfortable race lead. It's really his race to lose at this point. Convoy has caught up to those 2 cars ahead of him. We said he had 2 soft runners ahead of him. He's now caught up to and past them. He goes up into P2. 2 soft runners we were speaking about, Skull and Pantry Star. They've come into the pits. It's Ferree now promoted up into P3, Levy promoted up into P4, Sugar Bear P5. Those are all the hard runners. Just going up the field now as all the soft runners pit. A lot of those hard runners, very fast drivers that I say were driving out of position. So they're going to have a bit of clean air. It's time to work those hard tyres. Please, 4.8 second gap. Convoy P2. What could have been if Convoy had started higher up the field. Of course, it took him quite some time to clear all those drivers on the soft compound to get himself up into P2, and by the time he got here, Weeze was already 5 seconds up the road. We'd love to see some wheel-to-wheel action between those 2 drivers, the 2 quickest in the field. And just looking at the times, right now, Convoy is the quicker of the 2 drivers. He's catching up, and he's catching up at a bit of a rate. Gap was 5 seconds, dropped to 4.6, and now all of a sudden it's down at, well, it's down at 6. So let's watch if Weeze is able to respond to that. No, he doesn't. He comes into the pits. He comes into the pits a lot earlier than I thought he would. Lap 9 on that set of hards. Convoy does not follow the leader's example. He stays out. Weeze have damage to the car. Let's have a look. There's no wing change. And that's a set of medium tyres. This is your new race leader, Convoy, in the RB. He's now followed by the new second place man. It's Ferree. further 8.5 seconds down the road. Then Levy in P3. Weeze, suppose you could call him the provisional leader of this race. There's the drivers ahead of him yet to make pit stops, all within that 20-second barrier. It takes you to do a pit stop, come in, stop, get back out there. All of those cars within 20 seconds, so once they do pit, should come out in the lead. And while they're nursing 10-lap old hard tyres, it's got a brand new set of mediums. It's going to come back at that top 3, try past them before the pit window. Skull, a fantastic qualifying session. He was able to qualify in P3 at a great start to the race. Initially was even able to stay with his teammate. Just a second down the road from Weeze for a couple of laps. Had to fight it out with Fantastar for that P2. They've since dropped a few positions. They've come into the pits. As those softs reached their expiry date, they could only move one way, and that way was backwards, but they have since come into the pits on a set of mediums. They're back out there. Difference this time around is Fantastar not as close as he once was. Now pit stops galore. Skull gets promoted up into P4. Will he even make up another? No, he won't. We've got Farmboy, Weeze, Sugar Bear, and now Skull. The Convoy and Sugar Bear, they're still going to pit. That should theoretically give us a Williams 1-2 yet again. And that'll be at just over halfway distance. What a performance that will be. I don't think Weeze is listening in the background, but I know one of the Williams drivers is listening in the background, so apologies if I'm piling on the pressure. This is the night to put it together. Convoy. Wonder if he decided to go against Weeze, not follow Weeze's example, not come into the pits and do the same thing as the leader. Maybe he wanted to do something, maybe he didn't see Weeze come into the pits and he was caught by surprise. We don't know what the plan is. Of course, Weeze came in, put on a set of mediums. Convoy could be looking to take this hard even further and finish the race on the soft. How far can you take this hard tyre? Not quite sure. Lap 15, lap 16. Then jump onto the softs, finish the race that way. It'll give you a real punchy, aggressive finish to the race. Gotta make sure you don't pick up any penalties, anything that's going to push you even further back. Kevin in the comment section saying push. That is directed at its free. I assure you, he is pushing. Nobody out here on SKR, regardless of it being a Sunday, is on a Sunday drive. Everybody pushing to the max. It's for EP6, then Andre. Levy in P8, Spikes P9, final points, paying position, Jan. Second Ferrari, 1917, that's Joe Kutsia. Convoy, second. I thought he had a wheel on the gravel, but that doesn't appear to be the case. He was just using all the outside curb he could use. No, it's got an inside wheel on the grass there. It's giving it absolute everything. Suggests that the stop is coming soon. When will Convoy react? Does he come into the pits this lap? No, he stays out for another. I think he may be looking to take this into soft territory. Of course, it's all about balancing out that risk. Of course, you finish the race on the soft. It's not difficult to work out that you're clearly going to be the quickest car on the racetrack. But with every lap you spend out there on this hard, you're losing lap time to all the drivers around you on better tyres. So although you'll have all that extra speed at the end of the race, you've got to ensure you're not so far back down the order that you can actually benefit from it. Children in the comments that is Ferrari your teammate? That's why the support is so one-sided. Sugar Bear makes up a position. That's the position on Skull. Skull down to P4. Sugar Bear up into P3. He splits the two Williams. Now Jan picks up a 3-second penalty. That's not going to help him in his case of scoring a point in this race. He's holding on to P10 for now. Katosi just over 3 seconds behind him, but Katosi has a 3-second penalty of his own. Still in qualifying, it's one of those race circuits similar to Imola, where the penalties can get quite messy, especially in the latter stages. Guys start to get a little bit tired. Concentration starts to lapse. Already got 1 or 2 warnings under the belt. Next thing you know, the entire field has penalties. This was Conway. We were waiting for him to pit. He has eventually come into the pits. He has lost the lead as expected. He has lost P2, has he? In fact, he's come out just ahead of Skull. It's because of the shape of turn 1. On track it briefly looks like the car has overtaken you, but you actually get a shorter run into turn 1 than the car on the track. So Conboy, he was able to hold on to P2, but not for much longer because he still needs to get those tyres up to temperature. So Skull gets past for now. Of course, Skull's got 5 laps on his mediums. Conboy has a brand new set of mediums, so it should be advantage RB. For now, Skull able to stay ahead because I think that just comes down to tyre temperature. But once Conboy's tyres come up to temperature, don't think there's going to be much the Williams can do. And then unfortunately for Skull in his mirrors, he's going to see the green Aston Martin of Season 9's runner-up. It's Ferrari. Wheeze still out front, then Skull, say Williams 1-2, but it's quite a gap between the two, 12 seconds between the teammates. Conboy in P3 and very much in the battle for P2. Now he's coming under serious pressure. You could see it's Ferrari in the distance in the mirrors. Now he's no longer in the distance, he's right on the back of Conboy, so he's going to be pushing Conboy, putting pressure on Conboy to make the overtake on Skull. The longer he stays behind Skull, the more pressure that Aston Martin's going to put on him. It's a difficult place to be, trying to make an overtake and trying to defend at the same time, but Conboy pulled that off successfully. He gets ahead of Skull, and before Skull can even take a breath, he needs to get right back on the defense. This time he's defending from a green car, and he's not able to defend. It's Ferrari up into P3. The 2 drivers to watch here. Of course, 3 drivers to watch here. Wheeze, Conboy, it's Ferrari. Skull still very much in this. I think his medium tyres might be on the wrong side when it comes to age. They've already got 6 laps on them. You've got the likes of Conboy with the 1 lap old mediums. it's free with 4 lap old mediums. A lot of those drivers around him have a tyre advantage in age at least, if not in compound. Only one set of softs on track, and that's at Magosi, right at the rear of the field. Of course, if you're outside the top 10 and you get the fastest lap of the race, you do not get that bonus point. But what you can do is potentially steal a point from someone you might find yourself fighting in the championship later on in the season. Make sure someone in that top 10 doesn't get that point. Could make all the difference, not only in the championship, but it could be the difference between a P3 and a 4 and a 5. And each one of those positions means a lot to all of these drivers. Weeze leads the way, Convoy in P2. Then it's Ferrari, Skull, Pantry Star, Levy, Andre. Says it's Ferrari, it's now getting closer and closer to Convoy. Of course, Convoy's got the tyre advantage, so it's where he's going to have to drive out of his skin. First of all, he's got to get away from Skull, who's just holding onto that DRS frustratingly for the driver ahead. You try and make up ground, and you might even be 3/10, 4/10 of a second faster than that guy behind you. But every time you get to DRS, he just reels you back in and you can't get rid of him. Really need a super lap, or for that driver behind to make some sort of an error. We do have a caution, lap 17 of 22. It's disappeared from our screens. Of course, last week was quite disastrous. We had a safety car on lap 1. When that safety car came in, well, we had a safety car a few corners later. The race got going on lap 7. This time round, everyone's been pretty well behaved. We just had the one retirement, make them rage in the RB. It was very early on. I think that was right at the start of the race, because it shows he didn't do any laps on those mediums. So I think that was a failure to launch rather than a retirement. Pantry Star. 2 Red Bulls on track this evening. One of them in the points and you're looking at it, the other one in P12. And another caution. Every time we get a caution, it just stops ever so briefly, and I'm sure it's stopping for the leader as well. Of course, the man who definitely does not want a safety car at this stage of the race is the leader. He's got a 9-second lead. He's got the right set of tires on. Everything seems pretty simple. Get the car to the end. If a safety car comes out, well, that confuses everything. Everybody will jump in, get a set of soft tires, the field will be together at the restart, and things could get messy. So Weeze will be hoping for one more lap so we can get into that safe zone where no more safety cars can happen. Of course, lap 19, we're not quite there yet. When we get to lap 20, we'll officially be in the no more safety car zone. But we still have just over half a lap before we get there. Andre, of course, started outside of the top 10. Knew it was going to be a difficult race from the very beginning. A little higher up the field. I think he was all the way up in P5 at a stage, but P7, I think he's going to be very happy with that result. Because bear in mind, he's got no penalties next to his name. That might elevate him up the order. Penalties ahead of him. Levy 3 seconds. It's Ferrari 3 seconds. Everybody pretty well behaved. The drivers that do have penalties are in that 3 seconds category. Top Gun, Gutozzi, Jan, Sugar Bear, Levy, and It's Ferrari. Nobody recommitting the offence except for Cooper. Cooper's up to 6 seconds worth of penalties. Everybody else just tinkered with that line once and has not since done it again. Levy makes up a position on Pantry Star. Levy now up into P5. Skull still holding on to P4. He'll be disappointed. He's looking at that gap. 2.9 seconds now to the podium. It's just getting larger and larger. Really just, it's not his fault. It comes down to the fact that his medium's a little bit older than everyone else around him. And as you start to stretch the life of those mediums, that 1 or 2 extra laps of tyre life really makes a difference. Of course, early on, if one driver has 3-lap-old mediums and the other driver has 5-lap-old mediums, you're not going to see too much of a difference. But once you start stretching the life of that medium compound, if you're on 2 laps extra, oh, it's a big difference. Keep our eyes on the battle for second place, the battle for P1. Well, there is no battle for P1, it's an 8-second gap. It has come down slightly from where it was a 10-second gap. This is the gap we all want to watch. It's Ferrari, 3.6 seconds down the road from Convoy. Convoy does have the tyre advantage by 3 laps, and he also has the advantage of not having a penalty. That'll be another thing for Skull to keep in mind. Doesn't need to beat It's Ferrari on the racetrack. Doesn't need to overtake It's Ferrari on the racetrack. Just needs to get within that 3-second mark. If he can get within the 3-second mark, he can still steal a podium this evening. But unfortunately for him right now, that gap just going in the wrong direction ever so slowly. Was 3.5, then 3.6, back to 3.5. It's still within the realm of possibility. Any sort of mistake from this Aston Martin will cost him his podium. Convoy picks up a 3-second penalty. I said drivers were not re-offending. Well, there's another penalty, this time for Convoy. Did he have a penalty before this, or is that a second? He did not have a penalty before this. So that will make things even more comfortable for the leader. 7.5-second gap, and now his main competitor has a further 3-second penalty. So that 7.5 seconds is essentially 10.5 seconds. Of course, if it was the driver at the front with a huge lead that had all the penalties, well, this would be a very interesting race. Unfortunately, it's worked out the other way around. The driver at the front with a huge lead is the one with no penalties, and his main competitors didn't have too much of a chance. Well, now they've got penalties hanging over their head. It's going to make that chance even less. Skull ever so close, 3.7 seconds. Remember, because of that penalty, when they go over the line, that final result is not going to say 3.7, it's going to say 7/10. And when you're within a second, oh, it hurts. You start to think of all the things you could have done slightly differently. You start to remember all the mistakes you made on the racetrack. You could have saved that 7/10 and had a very different result. 7/10 can just be one mistake around the 22 laps of this circuit, and that's a big sideways moment for Levy on the final lap. Heart would have been in his mouth, would have been looking down at his front wing, hoping he didn't get that little pop-up on the right hand side of the screen that shows you your damage. Hopefully he was able to keep it out of the wall, and he had a large enough gap to Pantry Star to keep that position, but now his penalty is going to come into play and Pantry Star may steal that position. So as I was saying, one mistake around this circuit could cost you a position later on in the race, be it by penalties or whatever else happens. And as I was saying it, we just saw Lebby just have a moment. And now it looks like he's going to lose that position as a result. Let's go to the front, see how far your leader is. He's well into sector 3. Followed by Convoy, and it's Faree. And unfortunately for Skull, said he had to get it within the 3 seconds. He's gone beyond the 4. Looks like those top 3 are pretty confirmed unless there's any drama in the closing stages. And there's Wheeze, takes it ever so slowly around the final corner. He's got that luxury. There's the RB coming around 6.9 seconds down the road. Of course, those penalties are going to make those gaps look even bigger. You see that jumped up to 10 seconds straight away. It's for P3. Now we'll await the official results. Let the game work out all the penalties. What I can tell you is the top 4 are Wheeze, Convoy, It's Faree, and Skull. Just a few more cars that we're waiting for to come over the line. That's Captain Slow, that car's ghosting. Smurf also ghosting, so those cars at the rear of the field, that's why they're so far behind, no one's in control of them. This is Cooper. This will be one of the last, in fact he is the last man over the line. And that is Season 10 Round 3. Spa-Francorchamps, and as predicted in the comment section, driver of the day goes to It's Faree. May have muted that music a little bit too late, but hopefully we don't get a copyright on that one. There are your official results. Wheeze takes the victory, started from pole, ended in P1. Not a very complicated race for him. Then Convoy P2 started 14th on the grid. Amazing result. Faree P3. He started 17th on the grid. Even better result. Then Skull. He started P3. Finished P4. Very consistent race. He'll be happy with that. Lebby P5. Recovered a lot. Remember he was outside the top 10. Then Pantry Star P6. Spikes P7. Then Andre recovering nicely. Started outside the top 10. Finishes in P8. Sugar Bear P9. And Jan makes up the top 10. No points on the night for either of the two Alpines. Gatosi P11, we've got Top Gun P12, Cooper 13, Captain Slow 14, and then we had Smurf Jokitsia, Apmagozi, and the one DNF of Make Them Rage. Well, what a race it was. Of course, that was Season 10, Round 3. That was Belgium. Let's have a look on the calendar where we're heading off next. Of course, next week, these points, of course, not updated with the round you have just watched. Next up, we're going to another famous circuit. This week, we were in Spa. Next week, we're going to Monza. Probably two of the most classic circuits on the calendar, back to back. So of course, I hope you all enjoyed this one. We're going to allow a minute or two, as we always do. If anyone wants to join the Discord server, I need to set a reminder for myself to put a link to the Discord server on YouTube. And of course, if anyone watching wants to join the comms box for a few moments, talk about the race, if anyone in the top 3 can start doing that. Of course, I'm going to allow 2 or 3 minutes to see if anybody does want to join. If nobody does join, I'll be back to say goodbye And in the meantime, enjoy a little bit of music.
Day at 6, engines flare up, adrenaline shove. Tight turns, the smell of gas, tires screeching loud. Thrill on the track, every driver make the crowd proud. Racers gunning for the top, no room for any slack. Pit stop strategies, teams got each other's backs. One wrong move, dreams could crash, a season turn to dust. Victory tastes sweeter when the stakes are a must. Rev up, SKR brings the drama. Highs and lows, no place for the comma. Checker flag wave, dreams come alive. Sunday at 6, see the legends thrive. Dashes, wheel-to-wheel clashes, cold sweat under helmets, pressure till it smashes. Race by race unfolding like a thriller on screen. F1 kings and queens chase that victory sheen. Rivalries ignite, sparking flames on asphalt, pushing limits, no regret, not a single halt. Missteps and miracles, heartbeat sequence speed. SKR battles fused with passion and greed. Rev up, SKR brings the drama. Highs and lows, no place for the comma. Checker flag wave, dreams come alive. Sunday at 6, see the legends thrive. Rev up, SKR brings the drama. Highs and lows, no place for the comma. Checker flag wave, dreams come alive. Sunday at 6, see the legends thrive.
Welcome back, everyone. Of course, as expected, nobody joins the comms box. Even though the drivers asked for the interviews, it's the drivers that don't join the interviews. So, no one joining the Discord, everybody a little bit mic shy tonight. Of course, people tend to join the comms box a little later on in the season for some reason. I want to thank everybody who joined us this evening, everybody who watched from beginning to end. I hope you enjoyed the race. Of course, we're going to be back on a Tuesday night. Remember, SAFRL has moved from a Monday night at 8 p.m. to a Tuesday night at 8 p.m. So that's our new time slot. And hopefully we're looking for another league to maybe do on a Thursday. So if you're looking for a commentator on a Thursday and you willing to let the race be broadcast on the NFR channel, you can contact me on the Discord server or through SAFRL or through SKR, and we can arrange that. So thank you to everyone who's been watching. I will speak to you all soon, and until then, enjoy the music. Cheers, everyone.
Let me spin you a tale about a race car driver, George Russell by name. He's quick on the track, but don't get too excited, cause when it comes to greatness, well, he's not quite knighted. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story. That's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. He's got the helmet, he's got the car, but when it comes to win, he's not quite up to par. He's got the look like Woody with a cowboy hat, but when he's in the pit, you'll see him shed a tear stat. Now don't get me wrong, he's got some skill, but when you're talking about the best, he's not in that mill. He'll race you hard, give you quite the fright, but in the end, he's more known for his tears at night. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story. That's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story. That's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run.
In the quiet lanes of Silverstone town, folks are whispering about a boy falling down. Got a seat from his daddy, money's the king. Driving that Williams ain't like riding free. Tires spin, engines roar, but the podium's far. His wheels hit the gravel, now there's damage to the car. Got the world at his feet, yet he fumbles the lead. His dreams race away, but he's not in the speed. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Now he's got his own team with a famous name. Aston Martin's the brand, but it's still the same shame. Every corner, every turn, the crashes unfold. Dreams wrapped in carbon fiber, truth left untold. Paddock folks shake their heads with a sigh as the green car spins and the hopes run dry. No matter the funds, it's a harsh game of pain. $1 million toys can't shelter the rain. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. trying, but the track's all uphill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill.
Well, gather round, folks, let me spin you a tale about a race car driver, George Russell by name. He's quick on the track, but don't get too excited, 'cause when it comes to greatness, well, he's not quite knighted. He's good